tragedy has struck. This video has actually been apparently confirmed by Activision to be fake. But as we know, Activision is never as it seems, right? And damage control is a crazy thing. So I'm going to play this video as originally recorded, despite the supposed cancellation of all the messaging in here. And you can assess for yourself whether you think that the leak is more credible, or if you think this new Activision little response is more credible. So without further ado, I'm going to roll the video. Enjoy. Hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here. A standalone zombies game has been something we've all dreamt of for many years now, and it might be finally becoming a reality, but not in the way that any of us expected. So I've had a very busy start to my year. I've been doing a lot of crazy stuff, which you guys are going to understand more about soon. But I actually initially missed this news when it first dropped, and I regret missing it because what a bombshell. It came from Ghost of Hope, that's the source here, and Hope says, exclusive, sources indicate to me that the delay on the next Xbox has hurt a lot of Call of Duty's marketing plans, as they wanted Modern Warfare 4 to be a launch title and draw a lot of hype to compete with people's attention alongside GTA 6. Now there's more to the tweet here, but let's start with that. Modern Warfare 4 is coming out at the end of this year. So that means that we would have seen a new Xbox console at the end of this year, which just seems nonsensical to me. Like, that's absolutely insane. Xbox is in such a weird sort of transition period right now. We've seen a lot of leadership changeover, farewell Phil Spencer. There's been a lot of adjustments made to their machine. And yeah, the idea that we'd be seeing a new Xbox console end of this year with Modern Warfare 4 just seems like surely they should have known that was never going to happen in the first place. Also, I think it's quite bold of them to assume that Modern Warfare 4 is going to be the draw that they need to fight back against GTA 6 of all games. Like, GTA 6 is just going to be so gargantuan that I don't think that Modern Warfare 4 has that kind of riz, you know what I mean? So Hope goes on to say, because of the delay, the idea of two Call of Duty games launching with the next Xbox has been floated. A traditional Call of Duty multiplayer and a standalone zombies title presumably developed by Treyarch, likely similar to that of Infinite Warfare and Modern Warfare Remastered, where both released together. So there it is. A traditional multiplayer and a standalone zombies title. It's insane. Now, there are various ways that this could be absolutely horrible, right? The Call of Duty product does rely a lot on a lot of its systems being shared across different parts of the game, right? So like the systems of the weapons, for example, are obviously developed, and they're developed with a lot of the multiplayer in mind, and then zombies kind of ends up getting to use that stuff. In this scenario, if you've got a different multiplayer being launched by a different studio, and you have the Zombies title being developed by Treyarch, as soon as they try to branch away from each other, you're going to end up with like competing code bases, basically. Or you're going to have a load of stuff in between trying to bridge the gap between one and the other. It's going to get really messy. But assuming they did kind of branch and go their own separate directions, you then have the issue of the fact that, okay, that means that there's just less resourcing that they can put towards the overall product, because Treyarch has to develop the guns, and Infinity Ward or whoever have to develop the guns. They have to build those systems. They have to do all the new stuff twice, essentially. So there's reasons why it would be a little scary, actually, to see a standalone zombies title happen in this manner, with the assumption that there would be another COD happening at the same time. We've always kind of assumed that if there would be a standalone zombies title, it would be the sort of thing where it might come out in a year where there was no other COD. So we might get like Modern Warfare 2, and then Black Ops 3, and then Modern Warfare 4, and then Zombies 1. Like, as its own thing, right? And have a year for that. Now, that, granted, would mean that the multiplayer people might be a bit out of luck for a while, but hey, zombies is fun. You guys can just come over here and play some zombies with us. Like, it'll be chill. So yeah, there are reasons why the dual model here is something that I'm a little bit wary of. I think that's, like, kind of scary from the perspective of the sort of business unit, maybe going, oh yeah, like, we here at Microsoft, like, know that we need to kind of extract a certain amount of value from this franchise, and here's how we're going to do it, not realizing some of the trickle-down consequences that might have. Hope goes on to say, Microsoft want Activision to be more agile and less attached to annualized releases in the future. The consensus is that a more quick and coherent product development pipeline would have allowed them to cash in on the Extraction shooter hype sooner with a DMZ update, for example. So again, that's very interesting and kind of scary at the same time, because you've got a desire for Activision to be more agile when Treyarch and Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer, all of those studios have devs that are working so incredibly hard every year to be insanely agile and to respond where they can to these industry trends. Like, we saw Fortnite blow up, right? And then, to the credit of the Call of Duty developers, we didn't see 3 other massive similar games blow up and capture the market that exceeded the success of Warzone. We saw Warzone blow up. Like, Warzone did very, very well, and it's because they were super agile after the success of Fortnite, and also recognizing that a lot of that groundwork was laid with Blackout. And again, Blackout was an example where I think it was midway through what I think would have been 2018, where they scrapped their campaign plans in Black Ops 4, and they said, oh, actually, teehee, we're going to make Blackout. And then they did it in what, as far as I understand it, was about 6 months, and it was incredible. Blackout was a really well-developed, polished mode. They were so agile in doing that, and they cashed in on a lot of that hype. Now, granted, I think Warzone has been more popular, but also Warzone had a couple of extra years of dev, right? So it makes sense. But we've seen lots of agility, I think, from the Call of Duty team. And so the desire for more agility and less attachment to annualized releases, it's like, okay, on the one hand, the annualized release model is something that's been a bit tired, I think, for a while now. And I think the poor sales of Black Ops 7 are evidence of that, right? It's no surprise to everyone that the franchise fatigue is actually starting to reflect in the numbers, and the franchise fatigue itself comes from the annualized model in many ways. And Eric Hirschberg, when he was involved with things maybe 6 or 7 years ago at this point, commented on this and said in one of the Activision investor calls that there would be a point at some point in the future where COD would move away from that business model, like where it just would happen. And that was pre-Microsoft buyout, like that was before any of this new kind of era of the industry began. And so if they were thinking about it then, clearly a sign that even to the sort of earlier days of Activision, this seemed like a move they had to make. Is this going to be making the move for the right reason? I don't know. Is it going to all work out if we do get a zombies game out of it? Well, maybe. But my concern and my fear is that Treyarch already, in my understanding, has done a huge amount of work over the last 5 years to not only make their games, but also to help polish and sharpen up and support all of the other COD efforts from all the other studios, right? And it's gotten to a point this year where Treyarch, I know, is tired. Like, that studio has been working so damn hard, and my fear is that they might then get put on a standalone zombies game, which would be incredible, but then there would also be all of the fires that they'd have to put out with all the other studios, as they sort of already do to some extent. And it might mean that we get a less well-resourced project, because Treyarch has to build the whole thing themselves, right? But simultaneously, they are more stretched because they're building all those things themselves, and they're still putting out fires from other studios who are trying to also release games at the same time and also detach from the annualized model, so there are more releases happening at a less understood cadence through the year. Like, it's exciting. I love the idea of a standalone zombies game, and if all I was thinking about here was what I got to play at the end of the day, I would be giga enthusiastic for that. It's just that I'm aware of how the industry works, and there's a lot of other language around this in this tweet that's kind of scary, like just a little bit scary. So my perspective from here is, if there are Activision surveys going out or what have you that say like, would you be interested in a standalone zombies title? My answer to those things is going to be hell yes. But we need to keep our expectations, I think, as a community sharp, and we need to keep them well-rounded and holistic and considering the full industry picture and perspective. And it may well be that we have to kind of make peace with some concessions being made in the development of that kind of game. Like, for example, maybe in that standalone zombies title, it's more like a $40 title, but it's Call of Duty, so they're probably going to be selling it at 60, 70, right? Like, I could see that sort of thing happening. It would still be an amazing game at $40. Like, it would still be that incredible full focus for zombies that we've all wanted it to have for so long. But it might be that that's kind of what they try and do, and I wouldn't like it to be kind of kneecapped in that way. But Treyarch is a finite group of people, you know what I mean? And those poor devs need rest. Like, I've spoken to so many devs over the years that have worked for so many different studios, and I know how difficult like one period of crunch can be. When it starts getting to the point where it's like Treyarch have been on basically 5 mainline Call of Duty titles in 5 years, and they've done a million other things as well. There's a fatigue in your soul that sets in there that is, it takes some time to unpack that and to deal with it. So I'm like, I really want the standalone zombies game. I also want the Treyarch devs to like not be completely on the brink of death. Do you know what I mean? So we'll see. Weird times in the industry. I'm looking forward to whatever developments come here, but yeah, bizarre, but probably good news, maybe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.